Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, as we are going through Philippians here, we are talking today about, are you living as an enemy of the cross? Sure hope I'm not that way. But Paul is talking about that. He talks about, as he's talking going through Philippians, this one letter, I think he started out and he was like, I'm just going to write like this short thank you note. But it turned out like as he was writing, other things kept popping into his mind. And Epaphroditus, who was also from that Philippian church, was there to help him. And as he said, hey, you know, we're dealing with this in the church and so forth, Paul addresses those things. Okay. So we're going to finish up chapter 3 in these in today and tomorrow's episode here. But today, you know, it's entitled, Are You Living as an Enemy of the Cross? So let's read today from Philippians chapter 3, verses 17 through 19. All right? It says this, join together in following my example. Okay? That's something really brave to say. Hopefully we can say that to others. Hey, follow my example as I'm serving Christ. Sometimes, some days you're like, don't watch me as an example because I'm not living very well for the Lord. But here Paul is saying, hey, follow my example. Brothers and sisters, and just as you have as a model, keep your eyes on those who live as we do. Okay? So there's other models out there, and he's saying, keep your eyes on those people too. For as often as I have often told you before, and now tell you again, even with tears, many live as enemies of the cross of Christ. Their destiny is destruction, their God is their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things. Let's go back up to verse 18. It says, For now as I have often told you before, and now I tell you again, even with tears, many live as enemies of the cross of Christ. Paul is saying this, and he's not happy about saying this. It's bringing tears to his eyes as he's saying this. I think it would bring tears to all of our eyes. That he's saying there's people that are living, and they're living as enemies of the cross. And he's not happy about it. And then he goes on to say, verse 19, their destiny is destruction. Destruction ultimately in hell, okay? Their God is their stomach, okay? And their God can be many other things, but the stomach is... When I eat something, I'm doing the eating to please myself usually, okay? If I want a hamburger, it's because I want a hamburger, okay? Sometimes we do it for healthy reasons and so forth, but most of the time it's to please ourselves. So this is a good example of their God is their stomach. The stomach is representing flesh. So I'm pleasing my flesh. So when I eat my hamburger, I'm pleasing my flesh. When I eat my chocolate cake, I'm pleasing my flesh. And so there's other things that are being done to please my flesh also. And Paul is saying their God is their flesh. They're not serving God. They're serving what they want to do is the bottom line here. Okay? And their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things. Okay, that's how you're going to know someone who's truly following God and someone who's not. Is what is their mind set on? Is it set on earthly things like, oh, my car, you know, I got a scratch on the car and it's the end of the world? Or are you focused on eternal things like, hey, how can I disciple this person, or how can I lead this person to the Lord, and how can I help serve God and serve the church, help that church grow? All kinds of things like that. Am I focused on eternal stuff? Okay. Or am I focused on earthly things? And that's what Paul is saying here. He's saying those people are focused on earthly things. And ultimately, it comes down to this. When you're focused on those earthly things like that, you have now set yourself up to be an enemy of the cross. And that's what Paul says here, is these people are enemies of the cross. You know, the people are serving God and doing all they can to serve the Lord. They're not enemies of the cross. They're helping build up the cross. But here, these people are just out to please themselves. So they become enemies of the cross. So what are you today? Are you out to please yourself? If you are, you're an enemy of the cross. Or if you're out serving the Lord and pleasing the Lord and living for Him, you're not an enemy of the cross. Jesus died for you, and we are allies with Jesus. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Philippians. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.